Right.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's
Welcome
do
to the
this.
One Take Podcast, episode 133. Because we're doing Babylon, we're reviewing Babylon. Just like that was the last movie ever made, this is our last podcast. So let's just have a huge party to celebrate, right? Babylon, last movie, Damien Chazelle's ode to Hollywood and burning it all down. How we doing?
Fan-fucking-tastic. Just walked out of Plane, the new Gerard Butler joint. Not bad. Not bad.
The spiritual successor to Ambulance.
Yeah, it's in the Ambulance cinematic universe for sure.
Hell yeah.
I can't believe you're already spreading this false gospel that Plane is better than Ambulance. There's no way that's true, and I haven't seen Plane, but there's
absolutely true. It's so much
there's
better.
no way that's true.
Because they don't spend the whole time in the fucking plane.
What if they did?
How many drone shots are in Plane? All right, how many drone shots?
Honestly, not enough. I'll give you that.
Yeah, thank you.
That.
Speaking of, Michael Bay was accused of killing a pigeon and is wanted for pigeon murder in Italy.
Fuck that pigeon.
I mean,
Michael Bay is him.
Sometimes it'd be like
he's beating these allegations. He's beating these allegations.
It's illegal to kill.
Bring me
pigeons
the body. Where's the body? Where's the murder weapon?
It's bare hands. It's illegal to kill those sky rats in Italy.
Sky rats.
Those things, pigeons stink, man.
Pigeons are awful. Nobody cares about them. Like,
yeah, all they do
disposable birds.
Anyway, all they do is shit and make noise. Nobody needs them.
What if Joe Biden's just like, nah, bro, we're not sending them over there for that. Like, no extradition.
Absolutely not. Pardon. So actually this week we're going to talk about two films, two potential Oscars films that we didn't get to in 2022, but because more people have now seen Banshees of Inisherin because it's on HBO. These are also two Oscars films, two movies that nobody saw. Literally no one saw these movies.
Yep.
But now more people are seeing Banshees of Inisherin. It's on HBO Max, as it should be. And we're going to talk about both of them. Quick reviews for the Banshees of Inisherin and Babylon. Two very similar in-step films, if you will.
Totally the same vibe.
Films are shaking hands across the aisle. This is the exact same. I mean, both these films have something to say about legacy that maybe we can talk about, but let's get into these reviews of the Banshees of Inisherin. We're gonna go Banshees of Inisherin, Babylon, and then we'll have a rundown of everyone's favorite award show, the Golden Globes.
Not canceled.
Not canceled.
Back.
Maybe they should have been. All right, Banshees of Inisherin. Let's talk about that. I'll give you the rundown because, like I said, I'm not sure everyone has seen this one. Came out actually in October, I believe. Like it came out a while ago. Two lifelong friends.
Dumbass release schedule. Like they premiered it at festivals, then they released it in 2 theaters in LA and New York, and then over the course of a month they put it in other cities, and then they were like, fuck it, HBO Max.
Yeah, they also didn't market it at all, just as HBO Max is known to do. Has a 7.8 on IMDb, rated R, hour 54 minutes. Two lifelong friends find themselves at an impasse when one abruptly ends their relationship with alarming consequences for both of them. Written and directed by Martin McDonough of 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri fame. Stars Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, reuniting with Martin McDonough for the first time in close to 15 years after In Bruges, a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, I believe it's on HBO Max as well.
Great film.
Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan are also in this movie. Has a 7.8 on IMDb, an 87 Metascore. Has a 97% from critics, 76% from audience on Rotten Tomatoes, featuring some of Martin McDonagh's finest work and a pair of outstanding lead performances. The Banshees of Inisherin is a finely crafted, feel-bad treat. Also won a couple of Golden Globes, one for Colin Farrell, one for, I believe, Martin McDonough for screenplay. for this movie. I can't find them because they used to list those right up there. Yeah. One actually best motion picture musical or comedy, one for Colin Farrell for best actor in a motion picture musical or comedy, and best screenplay was also nominated for several others. Also now nominated for a handful of SAG awards.
My queen, my shorty, wasn't nominated for best supporting actress. That didn't happen.
No, she was not for Screen Actors Guild, I don't believe.
Snubbed.
Let's see, Screen Actors Guild. It was nominated for. Actually, she was. Her, Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell, and Barry Keoghan and Carrie Condon were all nominated for acting awards.
Jesus.
So they all got nominated in those categories. Let me find the Golden Globe so I can just correct myself. Sorry, and we're running long on this intro, but A B C D E F G. They used to list, like, it used to be such a good award show that when you won, it would come before the Oscars. Mark McDonough was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Best Director, Brendan Gleeson, Best Supporting Actor, Barry Keoghan, Best Supporting Actor, Best Original Score for Carter Burwell, and Best Performance for an Actress in a Supporting Role for Carrie Condon. So it seems like
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
they're going to have those nominations locked up come the Oscars. We already know how Teej feels about it.
Yeah, let's hop right into it. We've gone too long on this intro. Let's go.
Just real quick. Made no money. $24 million gross worldwide. Jesus. Release these.
That's more than Babylon.
I know, isn't it? Yeah, it's about like $10 million more than Babylon. Anyway, Teej, you didn't like this movie. You thought it was a waste of time. Go ahead.
First of all, I don't like Greg McDonough's movies. I don't like Three Billboards. I know we got all the Oscar hype around that movie. I do not like Three Billboards. I actually actively hate Three Billboards, and I think Three Billboards is worse than this particular movie.
Wow.
It's not that I don't like this movie. It's just I feel nothing towards it. I like hanging out with Irish people doing Irish accents and talking and using that slang. I like that just as much as the next person. But quite literally, this is the most pointless movie I've seen in a long time. It is so granular and small, and I did not care about the relationship between these two people and their friendship. I was never made to care. I was never quite made to have any. You don't get any background on this friendship. You kind of jump into the story where the friendship starts to fall apart. And so I was like, okay, that's cool, but I actually have no investment in this friendship, and I don't really care what happens to these people, and I don't really care what happens to this friendship. And then the movie just kind of ends, and it's like, well, that was weird. Everybody made some awful decisions. We ended up here. I know that there's an analog in the background of the Civil War that was going on at the time, and I understand putting it against that backdrop, but I would have much rather seen Colin Farrell, who's incredible, in a movie about the Civil War, as opposed to a movie during the Civil War that was really just about some stupid beef between these two people. I just didn't. It didn't do anything for me. I think that Colin Farrell does a great job in the role, and I am part Irish. I love an Irish accent. I was all in for the story, and I just was bored to tears.
You're what?
I
was bored. I'm part Irish. That's
What?
true. That's facts. My last name is Finley, first of all. So, like, my Irish bona fides are there.
Fair enough.
I'm Irish. So I appreciate stories about Irish people. However, this didn't do much for me. I had to keep, I like to watch movies in one sitting. It's not a particularly long movie. I think it took me 4 sittings to finally get to the end of this movie. And when I got to the end, I was like, I wish I had not got there. And I could have just read the Wikipedia summary. I was shocked when he cut his fingers off, but when he literally said, "Hey, I'm gonna cut my fingers off if you talk to me again," I felt like where this movie was going, it was going to manifest itself. But I would give it. I didn't hate it. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's as good as everybody else thinks it. I would give it like I would give it a B minus. Like
you don't mean that. Your heart was in that B minus.
No, I thought C plus at first, but it is well made. I'm not saying that it's not well made. Like, it looks good. The performances are good. It's just literally like the plot of this movie is the most pointless thing in the world to me. It just didn't. It didn't catch me on that level. I'm gonna go B minus. I don't want to give it a C plus because it's going to win awards, and it's not a bad movie. And I wouldn't tell people not to watch it. I just don't understand why people love it so much. That's the only thing that I'm at. But I would I would give it a B minus.
You really don't take into account how much repressed feelings that men have. You're like in LA and in therapy. You don't need you're you're not feeling it out here, man. You're not taking into account all of us
Maybe.
guys out here that are sad. Go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to Teej in a lot of his sentiments. Like, I got to the end of the movie and I was like, what was that for? Like, what am I looking at right now? You know? Like, because, you know, it starts out, it's cool, it's whatever. It's like, oh, this is kind of funny. Like, he just doesn't like his friend anymore. Like, fuck this guy. All right. Like, cool. And then it just doesn't really have anything else after that. Like, for me. So I got to the end of it really confused about why people love this movie as much as they do, or why they're calling it like one of the best of the year, why it's like a top best picture contender or whatever. The acting performances are good enough and like entertaining enough for me to like not hate the movie. Or I actually do like it. I think I had it in the top 20, maybe top 15 of last year. So I don't hate it or anything. It's cool. I enjoyed most of it. Colin Farrell is really good. Wouldn't hate it if he got the Oscar win. But beyond
Who
that,
else is going to be in that category? Because I would hate it. Depending
Austin Butler.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go Farrell. Let's do it. I'm behind him.
yeah, right now,
with
Austin Butler and Colin Farrell are kind of the favorites at this point. Brendan Fraser fell off a little bit, but yeah, it's those
He'll
three.
be nominated.
And he's definitely getting nominated. He's just not the favorite to win like he was early.
Farrell's never
the
won
other-
one, has he?
I don't
No,
think
I don't
so.
think he's been nominated for one either, which is kind of surprising given his last 15 years.
Bill
Fair.
Nighy, he's the other guy who's a lot for nomination for a movie called Living that hasn't come out yet.
I was gonna say I don't know that. I haven't
Never
seen this
heard
film,
of it.
but that makes sense.
Yeah,
It
I
hasn't
have a
come out yet.
screener of it I'm supposed to watch here tomorrow, actually. But yeah, it doesn't come out yet. And then the fifth spot's kind of in the air. They could say fuck it and let Tom Cruise in there, or they could like I don't know, just pull some bum off the street. Who cares? But yeah. Anyway, Colin Farrell, I think he's really good in this movie, and like I felt him a little bit. You said you didn't care about their friendship or whatever, but I was like, I can understand. He's used to doing the same shit every day with his homie, and now his homie don't fuck with him no more. And like Colin Farrell made that kind of interesting for me, but movie didn't feel like it had much else after that. Like you get to the end and he burns his house down or whatever, and you're like, oh, well, damn, all right, like that's kind of fucked up. But like, okay, whatever.
Well, he saved the dog, but
yeah,
he
he
was gonna
saved the
leave him to
dog.
die.
Yeah, we don't kill dogs out here. Fuck you in your house, but we don't kill dogs out here. It ain't never that deep. The beef stops at the dogs. But yeah, man, I want you to like just explain what I missed here, because like I get the obvious commentary on male friendships and what's the other actor? Is it Brendan Gleeson?
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, he pretty directly talks about wanting to do something with his life and leave a legacy and all that. It's like I get that part of it, but the ending, I was just like, what did we accomplish? Like, what did we say? What did we do? What was the point? So I give it like probably like a B plus because I enjoyed the rest of it so much. All the acting performances are good, but the story, like the end of the story, holds it back for me because I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't miss anything. It's not like I'm like on some higher plane than you. I just enjoyed it more.
Fair
Like
enough.
it's just not. It's not like anything deep. It reminds me sort of films of yesteryear. Like this is gonna sound reductive because it's like the first film that comes to mind about Ireland for me. But like it reminds me of stuff like The Quiet Man from the 1950s with John Ford and John Wayne and it
Yes, of
reminds.
course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indubitably.
Yes, indubitably.
Indeed. Movies that so many people that actually actively listen to this podcast will know. But it reminds me of just like sort of simpler films that we've kind of not lost because like Tej, you can't say this is the most pointless film when literally The Power of the Dog came out last year.
Oh my
Okay, that's
god,
true.
that
The power
movie
of the,
sucked.
but the Power of the Dog is actively bad. Like this movie's not actively bad. The Power of the Dog is awful. It's horrible.
Fair. I mean, I didn't leave it. There is sort of the same sort of sense of like floating through these vistas and the scenes like The Power of the Dog, where it's like, what are we talking about here? But I wasn't left feeling as pointless and as hollow with watching this movie as I was with that. And it mostly comes down to just I like Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell more than Benedict Cumberbatch in that movie. Not like I hate Benedict Cumberbatch, but like he's he's the worst person in the world in that movie.
And like not interesting about it.
Yeah.
He just sucks. Like,
he's just bad. He's just a bad guy. But this, I just kind of, I did enjoy the messages or the subtext of what have I necessarily been doing with my life the entire time. It doesn't hit as hard as or it's not as in your face kind of as it is in this next movie that we're going to review. But
yeah, no.
it
That is the
feels,
understatement of the century.
yeah, I know. It's brother. It kind of feels like a guy, even though Mark McDonagh has been like one of the most successful playwrights in the UK's history. He's also won Academy Awards and made films that have gotten asses in seats and been critically acclaimed. It feels like a guy sort of being like, what was all of this for? And I have a weird spot in my heart for those movies, like the aimless wandering of it all, and the aimless wandering of like what life actually is. And so I just appreciated that. It's not like, I get it. Like if you don't like, I'm not sitting here and being like, I did tell Tej that he lied on Twitter, but like I'm not sitting here on like some elevated existence because I like this movie more. I just enjoyed the guy who is just really fed up with it, and then this dullard Colin Farrell not knowing what to do with that, and I think he played it pitch perfectly. Do I think like it deserves the Oscar for best like actor? There's been so many more years past where performances from years past blow these out of the water. It just isn't that great of a year for best actor.
Tom Cruise saved cinema, guys.
This is what I'm saying.
Here.
This is why
right.
Layup here.
If ever there was a year for Tom fucking Cruise, it's right now.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal in Ambulance. I
would boycott the Oscars. I swear to God.
the clip that they show at the Oscars is just him go, "This is fucking cashmere." I do think I love Barry Keoghan. The best thing that Tej has ever said is that he has the most shifty face in Hollywood. It's the best thing I've ever heard anybody say about an actor.
I just love him, man.
I don't know what emotion he's conveying at any time. He looks like 20 different people. It's insane. His spoiler alert for this movie, by the way, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it if you want to. His death was out of nowhere. That was kind of like unexplained. They said that like 2 people were going to die, but when they just saw him floating in the river, I was like, what?
I thought I missed a scene. I literally thought I had missed a scene. I was like, I
they cut a portion of this movie out. No, I like the messaging of that, and my repressed Scottish lineage, where we don't talk about anything, and just all of a sudden it boils over, and you like light somebody's house on fire. That just really spoke to me.
Someone's hacking their fingers off, and it's like, damn, we probably should have had a conversation before.
I text the group. I said, when you would rather commit felonies against your friends than go to therapy.
So yeah, I mean, hey, when you never leave your hometown. This is what happens.
This is a movie about trying to make friends post college.
Were these
So-
people ever actually really friends? My takeaway was like, oh, these people were never really friends, and now Gleason's character just wants to dispense with the pleasantries and be like, no,
Right.
like you actually suck. I'm not your friend. You are that guy I actually hate. Every time you sit down at the bar and we go to our little pub, you talk about nothing but bullshit, and you send me TikToks that I hate, and I just don't want to do this friendship anymore.
Friends by circumstance, lovers by chance, lovers by choice.
Yeah, it's like if you had that one friend in college who like y'all have 2 classes together randomly, so you see them all the time, and you're just
Yeah.
like making chit chat or whatever, but you don't like really fuck with them in your regular life. You just kept that friend for your entire fucking life. This will happen.
And there's something to be said about that. We don't get a lot of films. Although that TikTok that Dex you sent us, that was a film in its own right about losing friends in adulthood, and that hasn't been explored a lot. But
That's true.
Because it's so uninteresting for the most part. Like,
well, I just said, grow up and don't talk about it like an adult.
yeah,
Like, just let it go.
just stop showing up to things for a little while. People stop inviting you to things. Then you're not friends anymore. Like, that's just how it goes.
By the way, the TikTok that we're mentioning, you probably saw it on Twitter, and there's already parodies of it, is a woman just basically being like, this is how I try to break up with my friends that I don't want to be friends anymore. And it's just like, and it's the most, it's the most passive aggressive, weird, but it's like direct. It's weird to say that it's passive aggressive, but what does she say, Dag? She says something like,
I don't have the bandwidth for this friendship or something like that. I don't have the bandwidth to keep investing in this friendship. And so I will not be talking to you anymore.
Yeah, just grow up and don't talk to them like an adult. Anyway, so Banshees of Inisherin, all that to say, Dex, like I thought it was really good. I'm at a B+ too. Like there's things with it where, like I said, it was at points like, where are we going with this? What kind of is the point of this? This could have been a 30-minute short.
Yeah, for sure.
We made it into a full movie. I love Martin McDonagh's writing. I do think it was actually very funny, and I was actually affected by the death of a donkey. So there's that. I give it a B+. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I would just like, you're told this is a Best Picture contender and possibly the front runner at this point? Question mark.
Please don't.
I don't know.
Please don't say that.
And you're like, you went into it, and I was like, okay, I'm expecting this to be the greatest shit I've ever seen because last year was an incredible year for movies. And we got Everything Everywhere All at Once out here. We got Tar out here. So if you're telling me that this shit is like a Best Picture contender, I'm like, okay, we got a high bar here. And then I watched it. Oh, all right, that happened.
Bro, Steven Spielberg made maybe his most heartfelt movie ever. He's the biggest thing to ever happen to Hollywood. He made an incredible film that everyone who has seen it liked, although nobody has really seen it.
Here's
and
the
we're
thing.
talking about fucking Banshees of Inisherin as Best Picture front runner. This is ridiculous.
Less people have seen The Fabelmans than the Banshees of Inisherin.
That's true. Facts. Much less people.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, but Spielberg is still up there with the. Honestly, it's kind of hard to pick a Best Picture winner right now because
just got 2 months.
So much shit has happened.
They're not going to run Till for Best Picture, are they? That's not going to be a thing that we have to.
It's probably already out of the mix.
I mean, I don't think people like it.
I
that
didn't
much,
see this film,
fortunately,
but I won't
not
be
watching
seeing
it.
this film.
No one saw it.
I will not. I will
not talk
not
about a tough hang. Tough hang. No, I'm not clicking that shit on. And
there was
that will happen.
There was a movement for getting Danielle Deadwyler a Oscar nomination, and she still might get one, but the Best Actress category is stacked.
What a year!
Yeah, that movie made $9 million on a $33 million budget. Like, I don't.
Till did or Fabelmans?
Till did.
Oh, okay. I feel like Fabelmans wasn't that far ahead.
No, it wasn't. It made like $13 million. Speaking of a movie that made $13 million, Babylon.
Oh shit! It's real cinema hours now.
Oh my god!
Real.
Real
Okay.
fucking stuff. You got to go first, Royden, because I don't know what you didn't see in this film. I had a great time.
Babylon, 2022 movie, came out over Christmas, going toe to toe with Avatar, which was a mistake.
Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. This movie was gonna flop no matter when they put it out. Like, it just
maybe like yeah, we can talk about it. A tale of a outsized ambition and outrageous excess. It traces the rise and fall of multiple characters during an era of unbridled decadence and depravity in early Hollywood. 7.4 on IMDb, 61 Metascore, written and directed by Damien Chazelle, stars everyone in Hollywood. Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Gene Smart, Olivia Wilde makes an appearance. But really, it is the first American film for, I believe, Mexican actor Diego Calva as Manny Torres. He had been in, he was born and raised in Mexico City. He had been in stuff like a Netflix series, I imagine. Yeah, he was in Narcos Mexico.
Yeah.
So this is his first English language project or English language film. Also, where is the guy? The trumpet player, the jazz musician.
Leslie Odom Jr. Is that his name?
No.
What's his name?
Oh, Jovan
Jovan
Adepo.
Adepo.
Yeah, it plays
Oh.
Sidney Palmer. So
Leslie Odom Jr. is Glass Onion.
Oh, that's right. That's what I'm tripping.
And the bassist for Red Hot Chili Peppers, Flea, has a big role in this as well.
Who does he play?
He plays kind of one of the producers or the studio heads, the fixer that's at the party, the bald guy.
Oh yeah.
Has a gap in his teeth.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, he plays one of those guys. This movie lost its ass. It's unbelievable. One of the worst flops in a long time. $78 million budget. They gave Damien Chazelle basically a blank check, and it made 14 million worldwide so far.
He deserved it. He deserved to get a blank check. He's awesome.
Did he though?
Yes, he made Whiplash.
Yeah, he deserved it. He deserved it.
But to get a blank check with zero studio interference, I understand the blank check.
Hey, we have been advocates of bringing back studio interference, but this movie is, this movie's 3 hours long. It probably didn't have to be 3 hours long. But you know what? In this case, I was happy the studio didn't interfere. I wanted to see what he put on the screen,
brother.
And it was the most fake deep ending I have ever seen. But that's what he wanted to put on the screen.
Yeah, look. Apparently, he originally gave them like a 5-hour cut or something of this movie.
I would love
or something stupid and pretentious like that. But yeah, I mean, hey, make that shit a miniseries. Put it on HBO Max right now. I'm watching it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I will not.
That's big facts. I'm watching the 10-hour version of this miniseries 100%.
Hell yeah. Give me the whole fucking thing. I'm going to watch that shit because I need more.
When they are on set
in my life.
When they're still in the silent picture age and they are on set and there's so much noise and they're filming all these different stuff at different sets, it's like a visual overload. I was like, I can't even process everything that's happening, but I was obsessed with it. I could not take my eyes off the screen. Then they're bringing all the homeless dudes to do the war scene. I was like, this is the fucking coolest, nastiest movie. There's poo. Elephants are pooing on people. There's these crazy sex orgies happening.
I was having the time of my life. Dude in a diaper.
I loved it. I was having so much fun. It was sensory overload, but it made sense to me. And then the scene where they finally go to the silent movies and you do like a 45-minute cut of one scene. I thought that was so
Here's
dope.
The thing,
like, we're gonna do this one scene for like 20 minutes. Like, I love that.
Here's the thing. Fun. That's fine. You like the first hour and a half of this movie, just like everyone else. There's another hour and a half of this fucking movie.
Okay, I didn't like the last hour and a half as much, but the only part I really actively hated was the final couple shots where we got out of the movie and now we're into the movie theater. I was like, we understood what you were trying to say. You didn't actually have to do this. Like, yeah. I don't need to see like shots from Marvel movies.
Avatar?
I didn't need to see Avatar in here. Like, I didn't need any of that. I didn't need him sitting in the movie theater I didn't need that. I didn't need that at all. But that was only like 3 or 4 minutes. The way they ended it with the characters, I was fine with that. When they go in the underground and you're like in the underground fight club,
No.
I love that. That was amazing.
That shit was dope. I'm sorry, bro.
Fire.
That shit was dope.
What are we doing?
I am an easily
Spider-Man was in this
entertained
movie,
person.
bro. And
Yes.
he was scary and he was crazy. He was
Terrifying.
I loved it.
Horrifying. Toby,
What did you rate this
Maguire
movie,
performance.
Roy? I know you
Give
was
us
it too
your
much?
give us your
Did you
review.
not enjoy any part of this movie?
No, I did. I'm a little exasperated by it just because I've been thinking about it for like 24 hours. By the way,
It's
this
an
has
exhausting film.
yeah,
It's an exhausting film.
this
It
has a
is.
55% critic score and 51% on audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. No one liked this film except for y'all. Babylon's overwhelming muchness is exhausting, but much like
Overwhelming muchness.
but
That's
much
the name
like
of this
the
podcast.
industry
Overwhelming muchness.
it honors it's well acted, well crafted. Glitz and glamour can often be an effective distraction. I'm either like this is either a masterpiece or the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, it ain't the second one. So
I don't think it's the first one either, but it's closer to the first one than it is the second one.
It is so much movie.
It is.
It is
a lot of movie.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What's the runtime? Is it like 3 hours?
3 hours and 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me? Give me a break, Damien. Damien, chill out, Damien.
What are you cutting out? What are you cutting out? Because I could not think of anything to cut out other than the last 5 minutes. I literally couldn't cut out any of it. You gonna cut out the snake fight? The snake fight was fucking awesome.
the snake fight is the best part of the movie. No, it's not the best
Oh,
part.
give me.
But that shit is so dope.
And we
It's
haven't
like
even
playing
mentioned
yakety sax in the middle of this movie. He didn't know what movie he wanted to make. It's like he
This
wanted to
might
make
be
the
the-
last
He knew
movie
exactly what
ever.
movie he wanted to make. It
I thought he
in
knew
the brain.
exactly what movie he was making.
Here's the thing. Damien Chazelle started making this movie as soon as he lost the Oscar for Best Picture. He started writing this movie in his head. And
This movie feels like the anti La La Land.
It
It's
is
like,
the
you don't
most-
like La La Land? I'll show
Yeah.
you.
it is the most mean-spirited retort
Yes.
to people calling him a movie nerd whenever he made La La Land. And it really is that. It just is that. It is, I'm going to do La La Land again, but people are pissing and farting and shitting on each other. Like, and getting fucked in the ass with wine bottles and stuff. Like, here's the thing, too. That's fine and good. Damien Chazelle is still a big nerd. Like, we're sitting here going, like, he's like living vicariously through this. Like, somebody said that this is like a narc's version of what, like, having to describe what a party is. And yeah,
I see that.
It feels like that. All that to say, the performances are great, man.
Incredible.
Margot
It-
Robbie gave
it
us
look-
her all, bro. She gave us
She
everything.
Is her.
She's
It
literally her.
it looks and sounds great. Whatever he does with the camera. There's one thing I will say about this, no matter that it's going 1 billion miles an hour, it never is unwatchable, I will say, because like you never lose track of actually what's happening, even
Mhm.
though it's going a bit, it feels like you're on cocaine for much of the first 2 acts of the movie. And then you go down some weird it becomes like Singing in the Rain on ketamine, but like
Mhm.
it is just all over the place, and it is I just think it, on top of it, although you don't lose the plot, it is a mess. It's just what else can we throw in here? What else can we throw in here?
I loved it.
3 hours is too long, man. Sorry, it's too long.
We
I'm
saw
for a
like
3-hour
that's
movie.
what it comes down to for most people who don't like this movie. They're like, it was 3 hours. Fuck it. Like, basically.
Well, you need
I
to
don't wanna
decide
watch The
also what
Irishman
you.
for 3 hours, but I want to watch Babylon for 3 hours.
Well, and that's the thing too. This movie is going to be reclaimed as being like capital C cinema in like 10 years. Just in like 10 years, people are going to be like, I have this steel book, like this is true art. It was Damien Chazelle's like actual masterpiece outside of La La Land. But
it's better than La La Land. It is better than La La
not.
Land.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's literally not. But
it's amazing.
It ain't, but
It's better than La La Land.
But that's the whole thing. This is his response.
First Man.
This is his
It's definitely better than
response
the First Man. And First Man's good, but it's better.
to people saying like La La Land was I don't know. I don't even know what that La La Land wasn't good, or that La La Land was too
it was too sugary.
Too granola. Like I think that's his response. But I can't get over knowing who Damien Chazelle is, and then him being like, "This is my Wolf of Wall Street," which it clearly was stealing stuff from too all the time, and it's just like, But so I can't deny that he's a good filmmaker. He's a great filmmaker, and this sounds incredible. It looks incredible. The score in this movie is fucking awesome, even though it is basically copying La La Land again, which is very funny.
Play the hits.
The score is amazing, but play the hits. That's all he did. He played the hits.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a C minus. It is I cannot give it more than that. I cannot stress to you how bad of a time I had at some of these points in this movie, where I was like, can we please get on with it? Let's get on with it. That'd be great.
We got on with everything.
No, we didn't.
We got on with everything. Yes,
no, we didn't. He jerked himself off for 30 minutes on like one scene. And there's two scenes that actually hit that are like good, really good, well produced. I mean, everything's well produced, but really good.
The 30-minute scene is good and well produced. It is amazing.
The scene of her trying to hit her mark and everything was incredible. Just like, I was like,
incredible.
I thought I was gonna have an aneurysm, because I was just like, how many times are we going to do this joke? But it ended up working. And then the scene about legacy building and the whole Gene Smart of it all was fantastic, about her being like, you're going to die and everybody you know is going to die, but eventually people will see you on screen and then you're just going to live forever. And that is fantastic. It's not the first time that it's ever been said, but it is really, really good. You know, somebody said there's like 2 deaths in the world, is like one when you actually die and one when the last time somebody mentions your name. And that's what that whole scene encapsulated. And I thought it was brilliant. Too many storylines, by the way. That was another thing. There was 18 billion storylines. Either cut some of them out or shorten the other ones. So because I don't know, man. It just also, not for nothing, the whole like projectile vomiting and like jackass of it all. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Incredible.
We probably could have studio interfered on some of that.
There was a movie that came out this past year, that we loved, of a beloved auteur, that the studio interfered, and it was objectively a better movie.
Yeah, shout out to The Northman. We love that.
The Northman. We love the studio interference, because that shit would have been 3 hours and 30 minutes long, and we praised them for that.
I want the director's cut of The Northman, but that's besides the point. I want the director's cut.
Didn't get their hands on this, is what I'm trying to say.
I think the discourse is so nasty to me around this movie, because when I left the movie theater, my thought was, Margot Robbie is a fucking movie star.
Yep.
This is movie star shit. And everybody started the discourse of like, Margot Robbie's last 2 movies have flopped. Is she actually a movie star? This is so nasty to me, guys.
That's kind of beside the point. But
I hate it. The money doesn't matter to us. That's not our money, guys. She did what she had to do. She's on that. I think that's my favorite Margot Robbie performance ever. She's had some great ones. She's never done anything like that to me. I was blown away by her performance. The music in this movie is incredible. I like the chaos of the movie. I think it really serves to put you in the space. And as I've said on this podcast many times, when you make a movie about making movies, you're already at a B for me when I sit down in the movie theater. You already have a B. I just like movies about movies. I do agree that there's too many storylines because the black character gets basically no storyline at all. He's just there. He's just seasoning on top of everybody else's storylines, which doesn't really
Either
make sense
make his not to like shit on that. It's like either make his thing like 1,000 times longer, or like we
Or take
gotta
him out.
we gotta take him out.
I agree. Don't just put him there because I was waiting for them to be like, okay, but like, what's this story going to be? He's like involved. He's like in on this, and it's like he really doesn't have his own individual storyline at all. He just has a really shitty moment where Manny treats him extremely badly. But even what they did with the Manny character, he's very good looking. They make him this hopeless dreamer who's in love with this woman that is clearly toxic, and then like the industry turns him to a horrible human being. And Brad Pitt, meanwhile, is just floating through life, being drunk and being high and being crazy, and all of a sudden he gets depressed and he does what he does. I really enjoyed it, and I would give it. It's not a perfect movie, but I would give it an A-. And this is one I cannot wait to watch again. I've only seen it once. I can't wait to give him another 3 hours of my time to watch that movie again. It made me watch Whiplash. Immediately I got home the next night. I watched Whiplash. I just like his movies. I just think that he hasn't made anything that I don't like yet. And I think that this is going to end up very high in his filmography for me, probably not above Whiplash, which I think is kind of a perfect movie. But I've only seen La La Land once, and I haven't ever wanted to revisit it. And even though I love Emma Stone, I have not wanted to revisit it. I can't wait to watch Babylon again. I can't wait.
I revisit La La Land all the time. I have it on Blu-ray. I love that movie. Should have won Best Picture, but that's besides the point.
That's false. That's objectively false.
I walked out of Babylon. I saw it when it came.
Your mic's kind of like breaking
You're
up
choppy.
a little bit.
I'm choppy. Am I better now?
I think it might
Try it
just
again. I
be
think
your
you're better
internet.
That's fine. We'll deal. But yeah, I went and saw Babylon that first night it came out. I was one of the 7 people who went and saw it opening week during Christmas. And I walked out of it and I was like, a lot just happened. That was weird. But the more that I think about it, the more that I'm like, that movie is awesome, dude. Like, I love that movie. It's obviously like a gritty Singing in the Rain reboot. Like, they do the whole thing of we're transitioning out of the silent movie era, and this woman who was great in silent movies can't hack it in talking movies. So we have problems. But they flip that and make it super shitty and sad for her instead of like it being a joke, which is, I guess, depending on who you ask, that's interesting. For some people, it'll be kind of dumb, but I ended up enjoying it. And Margot Robbie is just so fucking good in this movie that it's hard not to really be invested in her character. Like, she's that first party scene where she shows up in, like, hits that statue or whatever, walks out, is like on the dance floor killing it. She's the center of attention. The camera's like going all crazy, but always following her, and it feels like she's the center of the goddamn universe. She owns that moment, like, because she's just so fucking good. When they like put her on set and she's like crying on command, and the director's freaking out because he's never seen anyone who could do that before. You kind of feel like that just watching Margot Robbie normally, because you're like, holy shit, like, I've never seen anyone who can do all of like the amazing acting that she does while fucking looking as good as she does. So, you're just kind of in it with her the entire time, and then as it all falls apart for her, she's still like a really fucking good actor, so you're like heartbroken for her, and I love that part of it. Brad Pitt, I guess we have to mention the allegations. They are the allegations, so it's a little uncomfortable praising Brad Pitt, but it's uncomfortable praising Brad Pitt right now, as we don't really know anything, and no one seems to be talking about the fact that
nobody wants to talk about
he may have beat up all of his children, allegedly.
Yeah,
but anyway, he's good in this movie, and his character is a perfect archetype for him, right? Like the famous hot actor who everyone loves because he's famous and hot, and then he falls off, and I think that journey is like really well played by him. And so I'm into his story. Manny, I can take or leave. honestly, I feel like you could put a lot of people in that role. um, but like he's not bad in it, but it's just like we've seen this 1,000 times from 1,000 different people. Like anybody could probably play this role.
Well, it was missing the weight. It was probably missing the weight of a more famous person, but I don't know who that is going to be because you kind of need this fresh faced, like wide eyed person.
Yeah, and the budget would have been even higher.
We've seen it with like it's basically the Tobey Maguire role from Great Gatsby. Like it's the same exact thing where you're like, what is this? Like these rich people are crazy, and then like you become corrupted by it. Like okay, cool, whatever. Like it's not bad. Don't hate it. It's fine. Like didn't like take away from the movie for me or anything like that. It's just like whatever. Seen some million times. It's fine.
What was your grade?
My grade is going to be. I think I'm at A-. Yeah, the Sidney Palmer stuff I thought was good actually. Like they didn't. It did feel kind of thrown in there so they could be like, okay, we do have black people in this movie. Like it's not just all white people. But yeah, I thought they did it well because like because his journey is a pretty simple one and they get it across pretty efficiently. I thought, so that was cool with me. But yeah, just coming out of this movie, I'm like, Margot Robbie is like maybe the best like young female actress we have right now. Like
Florence Pugh exists, but I was getting those same vibes.
She's like what 33, 34 or something like that. Like I don't think there's anybody younger than her that I would be like, yeah,
best actress born in the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that's like younger than her who I'd be like, oh yeah, that person is like way above Margot Robbie. Like she can like nah. Like I think Margot Robbie is as good as anybody her age or younger for sure.
I don't care if her next 10 movies don't make any money. Keep giving her these checks and keep giving her these parts. I was blown away by what she did on the screen. And
we have to
the same screen
as
that
a community.
was on. Like,
as a community, we all have to go see Barbie 11 times. Like we have to. Margot Robbie has to beat the allegations, bro. We cannot lose Margot Robbie for these goddamn box office flops. We have to buy 1 million tickets to go see Barbie. Buy all of your friends tickets. Tell them to buy tickets. We need this.
Not for nothing. I mean, this is tale as old as time is women running out of roles, regardless of how they look. But regardless of that, she's going to get roles because of she's the best looking person ever. So like
top 5.
So even if Barbie, there was times that I like just because just the way that she looks on camera. There was times like in that bar scene where I was like, God damn, she really looks like that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, but
people went to go see Little Women, and it's not even good. People are going to go see Barbie. Greta Gerwig is going to bring the women into the audience. We don't have to worry about these allegations. They're going away once Barbie drops. I'm not.
It's also called Barbie. Like people are going to go.
Yeah, exactly. People are going to go see this movie. Like
I'm blaming Ryan Gosling if it doesn't work out. Like
that's big facts. Turn that up. Turn that shit up.
What this movie was missing was a little someone called Leo DiCaprio.
Facts.
Leo DiCaprio should have been the Brad Pitt role.
I mean, you're right. I like Brad Pitt's performance, but now you got me thinking. I kind of think it has to be Brad Pitt. It's so interesting to put that character against like the background of what we know about Brad Pitt. Not talking about the allegations part. Everything else we know about Brad Pitt. Like I thought it really worked just because like it's Brad Pitt sitting in that chair, so we're comparing the journey of his character to what we know to be like
Pitt, yeah.
Old man, bad hair Brad Pitt, and I just thought that brought out the character for me in a way that it's not written on the screen, but in the performance, it's there just because he's Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
to me, it did a lot.
There's like, I did appreciate, like I did, regardless of the allegations, like we're just talking about the movie, like, but I do think that his performance, like I'm not saying his performance was bad or anything like that, and like who else do you get as hot aging movie star? Like maybe Clooney, but even then he's a little bit too old at that point.
A little bit too old, yeah.
I think Clooney could have done. I think he could have done it. Because Brad
Pitt,
yeah.
I think Clooney definitely could have done it like 10 years ago. I don't think Clooney has a Babylon in him anymore. My man is out here on his Ticket to Paradise tour. Like He ain't trying to do this kind of shit no more.
No, I think this was missing, because not like Brad Pitt's like, obviously he's not a bad actor, he's an Academy Award winning actor, but they're like, Leo's just like a better actor in general. So I just think that, and obviously he didn't want to do it. He's like, I just did this, like, so I would just say that, yeah, Dex, you may, like, well, I'll cut this out, but you may want to like reboot,
Yeah, it's
because
crazy.
it's like we're catching like every other word.
You sound like Agent Smith.
So we'll continue here in a second. But
you want to read some of the winners of the Golden Globes before he gets back?
No, I do want to hear a little bit more about what you thought about the ending of it all, because it is one of the more like spit in your face endings that I've ever seen in the movie. It's crazy.
It really is. It really is like, you are an idiot. Let me break it down to the smallest possible bite-sized bits that you can ingest. I thought it was disrespectful to the audience to make it that plain. You didn't have to do a montage of Avatar and Marvel movies. Like, I did not understand that.
The Matrix.
We didn't have to do that. We like the messaging of the movie is not that difficult to grasp for whoever's sitting down to watch this rated R movie. So there's only going to be adults in there. Like, I didn't think you had to do that. I thought it was a really weird choice by someone who doesn't usually slap you in the face with it. Whiplash is very subtle. Like, at times it's in your face, but he doesn't have to tie it up in a bow. Like, you just end the movie. You could have just ended the movie with him outside the movie studio. Manny's character's outside the movie studio. Boom, in the movie there. Like, you didn't actually have to do the thing where he goes to the movie theater and now you're showing us contemporary films that were big blockbusters. We understand the power of movies and the power of these people and these performances living on forever, and we understand what Hollywood was to become. We know that it started where you showed us and it became this huge thing. We know that. We didn't need to see Avatar still shots. We didn't need to see that.
Did you read it as like a cynical ending?
I read it as very cynical, yes.
Okay. Dex, do a mic test.
Mic test. Can you hear me?
Way better. Dex, what did you think about the ending?
I mean, I didn't really mind the contemporary films as much as you guys did. My main problem with the ending is just the fact that he had his wife singing in the rain like multiple times in this movie. Because I fucking love singing in the rain.
Multiple times.
Singing in the Rain is like, I've called it the most delightful film of all time. I love that movie. Probably the oldest movie I've ever seen, honestly, but it still bangs to this day.
You haven't seen The Quiet Man? You haven't seen this? Real cinema?
Oh yeah, I forgot. How could I forget about John Wayne and what's his name? Of course. But yeah, I fucking love Singing in the Rain. I heard like what Babylon was about. I heard what Babylon was about, and I was like, oh, so like Singing in the Rain? And then you watch the movie, and it's like, yes, exactly like Singing in the Rain. Please think of Singing in the Rain when you think of this movie. We're gonna watch it 3 different times, like in this movie. And I wasn't feeling that. I'm like, okay, the first time when we mentioned it, that's cool. That feels like a knowing nod. All right, like, yeah, I made a gritty Singing in the Rain. Like, I've acknowledged it. But then to show it to us again and again, I'm like, can we not? Can we relax? But yeah, the rest of it, like the contemporary movies or whatever, I was like, that's kind of corny, but like, I'm not bothered by it. The Singing in the Rain stuff, I was just like, bro, like, come on.
It's such a shot call to be like, compare my film to Singing in the Rain.
Yes, right now. Like, compare it again for the third time. Compare my film to Singing in the Rain, and I'm just going to show you random blinking lights and bright colors, like in the middle of these flashes.
Really had a stroke. Like, they need to put a warning at the top of this movie. You have epilepsy. Don't stay to the end.
But yeah, I fuck with this movie, and like the more and more that I think about it, the more that I like it, and I'm probably gonna buy it on Blu-ray when it drops because I'm one of those people who does that. But
not gonna lie, the descending into hell thing, while I get it, oh brother, was I grossed out by that. I don't get normally grossed out by things, really. This is a guy that laughed his ass off at Jackass. I was so uncomfortable. Didn't like it. Felt bad.
Way more pissing and shitting and throwing up in this movie than necessary. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really that scene where she's trying to hit her mark. Actually, the entire movie from where she first shows up to actually that's not true. The entire movie from the first party scene going through the first scene where she's going to hit her mark and she can't do it in the talking film is maybe the most fun hour of movies I've had this year. It was that part of the movie is so much fun. It's moving so fast. There's so much going on, and I just could not get enough of it. It was literally like feel like I was on cocaine.
If y'all
I could
don't
not get
shut
enough
the fuck up,
They checked the
And
gate and the guy died. I'm like, bro, this is incredible cinema.
I also love that when the guy dies, like the music is building and building. The music stopped when the guy dies, and then immediately you're back into another party scene. The music's back loud again. Like it was. I just thought it was so smart. Like the way that the movie flows in an hour is. I could not get enough of it. I was on the edge of my seat, and I cannot wait. I literally might when I get this movie either on streaming or on Blu-ray, wherever I'm going to get it at. I might watch that hour of it by itself just first. Just I want to feel that feeling again because that shit was so amazing. And I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. So that hour is definitely the best hour of the movie for sure. And I would have very little studio interference in that hour, but everything else we can have some studio interference.
if the movie was just the first hour and a half, 2 hours of the movie, I think it would be. But then it just is like what are movies and what is the power of cinema? And like, brother. Oh fuck!
It showed how much of a nerd he was, even though he was trying to show us that he wasn't a nerd. All he did is reinforce that he is
a big nerd.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, you at least gotta lean into it, like Spielberg did with the Fablemans. Like the Fablemans is straight up just like, I'm a big movie nerd.
It's all that, and this is him being like, I'm not a nerd. I've had sex. I'm married. I've had sex.
I've seen people do cocaine.
Yeah. Like, brother, you went to film school and you made a movie when you were like 23. You've been doing this shit your entire life. It's not like Scorsese, who was like literal friends with gangsters. Like, I just don't. It's not like. And Scorsese's a nerd too, but like he was down in
the fucking.
He's seen some shit. He's seen some shit.
He's been down and dirty in like New York City in the 70s. Like, like, you know, Damien Chazelle's like, I've been in California making Academy Award winning films since I was 26, and it's just like, oh man, like you're a great filmmaker. This isn't your thing. So at times, to me, it felt a little disingenuous. That didn't take away from the whole thing of it all, but the hedonism of it all, I guess. But
very hedonistic film.
Yeah, but I just think there's points where I'm like, oh fucking dude, like, can we?
This film is for the sickos, bro. It's for the sickos, and I was right there.
There is a part.
I am a sicko.
There's a part where a person is getting fucked in the ass by a champagne bottle.
Yes, that's true, and it happens early, and it happens.
A guy
with an elephant getting shit on.
A guy gets peed on at a party, and then the chick dies. Like,
and that happens in the first 5 minutes. Like the pee scene is like literally like minute 4. You're like, oh, somebody's getting peed on.
Oh, by the way, he didn't like this comparison, but it's so true. This is just Boogie Nights too.
Yeah, I got a lot of Boogie Nights vibes for sure, especially in the rise and fall of it all. I mean, it's Boogie Nights.
Yeah, I just didn't care about anybody or what happened to them in Boogie Nights, and I did in this movie. So, like, Boogie Nights is cool. Like, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I just watching it. Like, enough
confirmed here, Boogie Nights, an okay film.
Yeah, Boogie Nights,
real cool. Cinema. Don't do that. What do y'all think about these kind of smaller directors who've made very critically acclaimed stuff, but maybe did not make something that was going to make $1 billion, although they were probably making profits on their movies? We got the Northman this year. We got Babylon this year. They're letting these people take these big swings, and these people are not having box office success. But it frustrates me because the narrative comes around, but the building is burning down around everyone. Like, it's not that these people are not making good art. It's not that these people are making art that could, in a different era, maybe make a lot of money. The Northman is great. The Northman seems like if you're in a packed movie theater, like I happen to be, it's a fucking movie theater movie that you're supposed to watch it amongst a lot of people. Like, he did his part of the movie. I think that whatever flaws that it might be in Babylon, which are plenty of it, this is a movie theater movie. It's loud. You're supposed to watch this amongst people. You're supposed to laugh at all the poop jokes. Like, we're supposed to watch this together. I think he made what he was supposed to make to get people in the movie theater. The reason why people aren't going to the movies doesn't have anything to do with these directors, yet it's falling on them and it's falling on these performers. And it frustrates me because most of these people aren't even movie nerds like us. You shouldn't care about how much money these movies are making.
Right.
We barely care about how much these movies are making, and we actually pay attention to this kind of stuff. Like, who cares? Did you enjoy the movie or not? Are you going to go see it or not?
There's a
the
couple
dialogue
of
is frustrating me.
There's a couple of things here because it's like really the only person that can actually like do that now is like Jordan Peele.
True.
Like even people aren't going and seeing Spielberg movies, which is
a sentence that doesn't even make sense.
Nuts. So I just think there's a lot deeper conversation that it would be its own podcast that we could talk about the industry as a whole and what they do. Like, one, they haven't figured out how to market in this age yet.
Fact.
They still haven't figured out how to do it. They don't know where
I hated
to put
the Babylon
commercials.
trailer. I hated it. I was like, this movie's gonna be bad. Like I had no doubts it was.
They don't know where to put TV commercials because like you just don't see, like they don't know if things should like grow organically, like Everything Everywhere All at Once or Barbarian. They don't know if they need to blitz the marketing campaign. They don't need to know if they need to like, let's try to go viral like Megan or Smile or something like that. They don't know how to market these prestige movies anymore. I don't have the answer. It's from what I've seen.
Yeah, how do you market The Fabelmans? How do you even attempt to market a movie like that?
Yeah. They also don't know like when we should put these things on streaming or if they should go directly to streaming or if we should, like I said, let it build in theaters, or should we just go all out and put it in theaters all at once? They just haven't been able to respond to the pandemic, and I think it eventually will work itself out. But streaming had to do with it, as well as them not knowing quite how to market these prestige films that aren't Marvel or Avatar or Mission Impossible or Top Gun. And
how have the horror movies found a way to market their movies so
horror
successfully?
Movies are proof. They're just like, they're pandemic proof. They're recession proof. They have always and will always be get asses in theaters, regardless of how much money you spend on it. Like going all the way back to, like, I don't think Rosemary's Baby made that much money, but like, Friday the 13th and the original Halloween, it goes back to that. People want to feel something like visceral. And so teenagers too will go and see those movies. Like teenagers aren't going and seeing The Fabelmans. And
but there's category fraud going on because the way Megan is marketed, it's marketed as a horror movie. Megan is not a horror movie. It's a comedy. You're supposed to laugh at this movie. Like, my theater was laughing.
That's just good marketing.
Time. Yeah, like they literally, like, comedies don't work, and I know that comedies haven't been working. But I walked out of Megan, and I was like, that was literally a comedy, but they just marketed it as a horror movie, and it's genius because that gets, like you said, asses into seats. Whereas for whatever reason, comedies don't get asses into movie theaters anymore. They just don't.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they marketed The Menu too. The Menu was a black comedy. It wasn't a horror movie. And it worked for a little bit. It made its money back and then some. Like, but I think
that's a dark comedy. That's not a horror movie at all.
But back to your original question of giving these auteurs money to do, like, I am okay with them doing that. And like Damien Chazelle earned a blank check. Now, do they necessarily, like, if they want to start selling these movies, like, you gotta have bigger voices at the helm. And like, I as much as y'all love this movie, like, I just think that something like, even though it didn't make its money, something like I keep blanking on it. Not Barbarian.
Smile?
No, sorry, the
Northman?
Sorry, I got confused. But something like The Northman to me worked better because it was it was interfered with a little bit. It was like somebody at the helm was like, all right, we need to like make this more available for and it made more money than Babylon. So I just
Which
think,
is crazy because
to me,
Babylon has
ultimately,
Brad Pitt in it,
right, and
Northman
Margot
made
Robbie.
more money than it. That's crazy.
yeah, ultimately, like the names in the movie don't really matter all that much anymore when it comes to like whether or not it makes money. Like we've seen that, like fucking Will
Like
Smith
Bullet
put out a
Train
movie
should have
and
made
nobody
$300 million.
gave a fuck.
It
Like,
didn't.
yeah.
Fact.
So ultimately, like what has to happen for these movies to make money in theaters? Like, first of all, there needs to be like some type of urgency to go see it immediately, right? That's what the Marvel movies actually have when it comes to getting people in theaters. Because it's like, if I don't go see this right now, it's going to be spoiled for me, and I don't want that to happen. Like, or horror movies, like Megan or whatever. Probably not like a big like spoiler issue, but like something like the Halloween movies or something. If you're into Halloween, like
or Barbarian, like you
yeah,
want to get in there before they changed the marketing of Barbarian. They started putting some of the twist stuff in the new trailers. You want to get in before that because we were all like, "What the fuck? What is this movie? Where are we going?"
you want to
now?
get in there. Like I have to go do it right now, so it doesn't get spoiled
Yeah.
for me. Also, if you don't have that, it has to be something that it feels like everyone is going to go do. Like, and so you want to be a part of that. Like Top Gun Maverick, none of us are worried about spoilers for Top Gun Maverick, but
Yeah.
everybody was going to go see it. So I'm gonna go see it too. Like that's just what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Movies have to feel either urgent or like communal. You have to have at least one of the two, if not both. Marvel movies have both, fortunately for them. That's why they make a shit ton of money. But Top Gun Maverick, not urgent, but it's communal. Everyone is going to go do that. So I'm gonna go do it. Avatar 2, no one gives a fuck about Avatar 2 spoilers, but everybody else is going to go see it. So I'm gonna go see it too. And with a lot of movies that come out, like Babylon, I can wait for forever to go see it. Like you're not gonna spoil Babylon for me. Like you can tell me the plot of it, doesn't matter. Like I'll see it when I see it. And
That's
also,
where the
no one else
streaming
is
bit of
seeing it
all
either.
this. Yeah, that's
Yep.
where the
I was
streaming
just
bit
gonna
of
say
all
that.
this has kind of ruined it because it's like, look, as much as we talked about it not making any money, like we said at the beginning, Banshees of Inisherin has now reached
Yep.
the number of people that they were looking for it to reach, including me, because I didn't get to go see it. There's also something to be said too about these studios, even though they want to market it for like awards and like get that there's something about it. They just don't put these movies in enough theaters. Like Banshees of Inisherin was on like one screen in my mid-sized town that I live in. So like that has to change too. That has to go back to like they somewhere along the way, executives made the decision to pull the plug on these movies. One, either way too early, or two, like not put it on enough screens, like for I'll just call myself middle America to go and see this shit. Now, maybe there's numbers to say that it doesn't matter because they're not going to go see the movie anyway. But it's like the opportunity isn't even there for some people.
I have another big issue, and I don't mean to become a legal nerd about this, but some of this is on the legal side. They have no flexibility to determine how we should deliver something to streaming or when we should deliver something to streaming because that's decided before the movie hits theaters. So your when you hit streaming and how you hit streaming should be just as strategic as the date you pick for the movie theater. But
Right.
it can't be because you don't know how the movie is going to be received. But some of these movies you have to get into the hands of people. If they're not seeing it in the movies, like The Northman, you need to get it to them because that movie could have had a much bigger moment. Although we don't know what the dollars are on streaming versus the movies, obviously, but it could have had a much bigger cultural moment if everybody was watching The Northman on Netflix and it was the coolest thing to come out that week. And people were like, I don't know everything about Robert Eggers, but this movie is a fucking adrenaline rush and I love it and I want to make memes of it. Like that movie could have served that purpose, but because it took so long, I don't even know if The Northman streams now. I'm sure that it does now, but it's not like it ever had a moment when it hit streaming and then people found it like Banshees. People didn't find The Northman. Only people that saw The Northman were people that saw it in theaters. And that's bad. That means you dropped the ball.
People are like finding Bullet Train and the Menu right now.
Yep.
You know how many of the Menu memes are on my timeline?
They're everywhere.
And that was
Everyone's been talking about the Menu for the last 2 weeks. It's been everywhere.
I literally predicted immediately after I walked out of the movie theater, I was like, this shit is gonna end up on Hulu or HBO Max or something, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, this new Anya Taylor-Joy movie is crazy. Why didn't no one tell me about this?" It's like, bro,
And it's not even that good, but everyone's talking about it. Everyone's watching it now. You have to.
my coworkers at work were
get that
talking about
moment.
it the other day because they just saw it because it just popped up on HBO Max.
I don't know. I don't have the answers to it. I do think it's worth giving people more money to make their movies. I think it's an impossible task to continue to like ask Damien Chazelle to be like, go make La La Land, which was $40 million, and make $400 million, which is what happened. But that was also like 2019. We just don't do that anymore, or 2018. But like it I think it becomes either here's the thing. Either you got to make your movie now for no money and hope that it makes like $50 million, or you got to spend $1 billion on it and like blow it out. So somewhere in the like 50 to $100 million range for making movies may be dead. And I don't have the answer quite for that. But it kind of just is what we're looking at right now. And
Yeah, you
everybody
also
has like,
gotta the director's got to get to a point where they can answer, why do I need to go see this movie right now? Like,
right, sure.
why
Yeah.
shouldn't I wait to go watch this at home? Like, is it fucking Tom Cruise is in fucking jets with IMAX cameras, and so like this shit will hit incredibly different in a theater? Okay, cool, that makes sense. I'm gonna go watch this shit in theater. If it's well, you'll just get to experience the magic of Colin Farrell and his Irish accent, like arguing with his friend on a big screen. Nah, fam, like that's not gonna cut it. You gotta give people a little something more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind of
And
movies, like you're not gonna be able to make a shit ton of money.
that kind of sucks though, because like, like I don't mind watching things at home. Like Banshees of Inisherin is definitely one of those things where it's like, I'm gonna turn my subtitles on.
That's the whole movie. You need subtitles.
And I'm gonna have a drink and like watch these Irish people fight. But like I think that's where it's kind of like, I think we, more so than anything else, I think we just probably need to accept that this is where the adult mid-tier drama goes now. It just is. And people like us that have grown up going to movie theaters, and people even older than us in their 40s and 50s, which have really adopted not going to the movie theater, by the way. Like people that movie nerds like on podcasts are like, we just don't get to go to the theater to see like Dangerous Liaisons anymore or anything like that. Or we don't get to go to the theater to see these movies that came out in the 90s and 2000s. I think we just got to probably accept that. I think that's just like, it sucks that everything that you have to go see in the movie theater is a blockbuster. Because I like just going to the movies to go see like whatever. I can't even think of like The Menu. Like I enjoy going and seeing that. But
yeah, I'm in there every week. I love that shit too.
I'm bothered by the menu discourse. I'm extremely bothered by it. I don't know how it happens that something like the menu, which is fine, it's not bad, it's not good. Something like the menu has had everybody on the timeline talking about it for the last week or maybe 2 weeks. That is so strange to me. A fucking Michael Bay movie came out this year that nobody saw, and it never had a moment. And whether you like it or not, Michael Bay has been known to put asses in seats. He makes popular movies for Americans and people that live in the Midwest, and they can enjoy the movie and turn their brain off. I don't know how a movie like Ambulance isn't streaming somewhere and being talked about on the timeline for its own week or 2 weeks. I don't understand how. It's weird to me.
Also depends on what streaming service.
Which ones don't.
It also depends on what streaming service it goes to. HBO and Disney and Netflix, regardless of what we think of Netflix, still have a chokehold on this.
Yep.
Like
that's what happened to She Said. No one's seen it. It's sitting right there on Peacock. Nobody has Peacock. So no one's seen the movie. I have, but like that's because I made someone give me their Peacock password because I don't have Peacock either. So I had to go search out this movie as opposed to on Netflix. I can just open it and it's right there, and everybody has a Netflix account. So everyone's gonna click something that stinks like Kaleidoscope, and no one's gonna click The Northman because nobody knows what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I also think that
Ambulance
like
is on Prime Video, which everyone has, but no one uses.
no one uses because their
No one ever
UI
uses it.
sucks. Oh, it's awful.
Everybody has that shit. We all have Prime. It comes with it. Nobody uses that shit.
Man, until the boys come out, I'm not touching that shit. Or until Unbreakable
I'm not opening that until Unbreakable comes back or the
Yeah.
boys comes back.
or
That's it,
Invincible.
bro.
Sorry, yeah,
Or Invincible.
yeah.
Those are the only
nope.
two.
No, I do think that. Well, that's the thing though, T. Right? Is like what we're talking about. We're going long on this subject, but like when these like mid-tier but decent, mid to decent movies get dropped on it instantly bumps it 10 points for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it in theaters. Not to say that we're better than you or anything. We
are though.
We just
like,
go. I mean, we are, but we just go to the movies more than y'all. We just are always at the movies.
But that's the thing. You got to sit down and you got to watch a good movie at home,
Mhm.
because most people associate movies at home with whatever shitball things that Netflix will pump out in droves.
Yep.
And
People's
which is like
expectations are so much lower for streaming movies.
That's the thing.
That's fair.
And then all of a sudden they put these good movies on there and they have this moment because the people are like, why didn't I hear about Bullet Train? It's so much fun. And it's like, fuck.
We tried to tell you.
Yeah.
We sat there for 2 hours on this podcast trying to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said like when Prey came out and it was like straight to Hulu or whatever, and people are like, this could have been in theaters. I'm like, y'all wouldn't have gone and seen it in theaters.
Exactly.
Like,
I wouldn't have gone to see it in theaters, but it turned out to be awesome. But yeah, your expectations are lower when you just go to Hulu and click on a movie. They're much lower.
yeah, they're much lower, and everyone's like, oh, this is awesome. Like what the fuck? Like, this is dope. Like that doesn't happen with movie theater movies. People are like, if Strange World would have dropped straight to Disney Plus instead of flopping in theaters, people would have been like, oh, that was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of being like, well, this kind of sucks. Like, dropping it straight on Disney Plus, it's like, that's cool.
It sucks because there's also no way to technically really recoup the money that when these movies drop really straight to these streaming services, because where they recoup the money really is at the box office. Like, you have our ticket, yes, already to Netflix. Like, we have purchased our ticket every single month to Netflix, but me watching it 18,000 times doesn't give you more money. So that's why they're bleeding money.
It does, but not on a scale that we understand as the people on the outside. Like, there is money generated every time somebody clicks on, but it's like a microtransaction versus you got to pay $14 minimum no matter where you live in the country to go see a movie these days. That's $14 every time we go see Top Gun 3 times, like we all did. They made $50 on us, and so you're not going to get $50 by somebody watching your streaming thing at home 2 times. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, the death of the mid-sized movie is something that we have lamented several times on this podcast. We don't necessarily have the answer to it, but it is an interesting
quick throwaway. We don't have to have a full conversation here. I'm just gonna say it again. I think Teach already said this a little bit. Margot Robbie is a movie star. Fuck you. I don't care.
Thank you. Turn it up.
She's the closest thing. I think she's the closest thing to like a almost even. She didn't take as many chances as but like Julia Roberts that we have in the 2010s.
And Sydney Sweeney's about to save rom-coms. Rom-coms are coming back because Sydney Sweeney's going to save them, and we're going to appreciate that. It's coming.
Sydney Sweeney is really like that.
Help us on the way.
I'll believe you. Sure. She's like, man, I don't want to be a chauvinistic or whatever, a pig, but she's great to look at. Like, okay.
She's also a great actress.
I will say though, there is that gap where it's like Margot Robbie is obviously one of the most beautiful people in the world, but you can watch her and you can be like, oh yeah, she's for sure a really good actress.
You got whatever it is.
Sydney Sweeney, you watch sometimes and you're like, I don't know if she's a good actress or if she's good looking. I've come around and like figured out, oh, she's just good. But there's still that question there with Margot Robbie. Zero doubt.
She is putting up numbers on Euphoria, brother, and that's why you don't see it because you don't watch television, Roy. But she puts up numbers in Euphoria, bro. She puts up numbers.
Speaking of television, those were also awarded at the Golden Globes. We don't care about that much, other than like Abbott Elementary, which won 2 awards.
Shout out Justice for my son from Everybody Hates Chris.
We talked about the return of the Golden Globes a little bit a couple of podcasts ago, but if you didn't know, there was allegations of impropriety, racism, sexual assault against members of the Hollywood Foreign Press who run the Golden Globes. Last year, the Globes wasn't even fucking on TV. It just nope.
They buried these
CBS was
allegations like Dana White, bro. They
let's
ran a
not do that.
campaign.
Yeah, which at any given time was the probably second most important, air quote, like these aren't important, but they are important award show was the Golden Globes. Did how much it had an effect on the actual Oscars race is up for debate year over year. I believe like sometimes more of the award shows that you don't see, like the Producers Guild, the Directors Guild, the Writers Guild awards, like weigh in more to the actual like
they're on
nominations.
They predict it like a lot better.
Yeah, the Golden Globes, what historically has been a night to honor multiple films and see all the Hollywood beautiful people get drunk. It just is what it is.
Yeah. It kind of bridges that gap between like the Oscars and the Emmys. Like the Emmys is the most important TV thing. The Oscars is the most important movie thing. But then the Golden Globes kind of splits the difference like by doing both. So
yeah. And, historically, it was a time for all the Hollywood Foreign Press to come in, rub elbows with Hollywood stars, as you're known to do. But that being said, it was back this year trying to rebrand itself to some success, to no success. I have no idea. I just kind of care about who's winning awards actually at this point. As far as the show goes, do we have anything to say about like the show host Gerard Carmichael?
I didn't watch it, to be honest with you, so I don't know.
I didn't watch it either, but I love Gerard
did.
Carmichael, but I didn't watch it.
Ooh, fucking brother. He look, I don't know if it landed. Like his goal was to be up there and be just like, I think he thought that his goal was to, I'm going to make everyone uncomfortable, and it is now their problem. And that's fine and good. Just I don't necessarily know how the jokes land, and it's tough to land the jokes in that room. But like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler did it for years. So
yeah, Street saying he lost the room. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but I listened to other movie podcasts, and some of them were actually at the Golden Globes last night in the room and all that. And they were talking about how, like, during the commercial breaks or whatever, right before they come back on air, Gerard Carmichael is going up there like telling people to calm down because they're drunk and rowdy, and like he's wanting them to be quiet because the show's about to come back on. And they're like, well, fuck this guy. Like,
he came back on TV one time and said, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
so
like, oh, brother.
He lost the room. And then when you lose a room and you're doing a live studio audience kind of thing, telling jokes, buddy, it's tough out here. So, like I said, I didn't watch it, but it sounds like it didn't go too well for him. I don't think he'll be back.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back either. But just to say that, let's do a quick rundown. I mean, of some of these awards. Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. The winner, of course, was Banshees of Inisherin, beating out Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is tough. Babylon was also nominated in that category. Glass Onion and Triangle of Sadness also were nominated in that category. Banshees won. We talked about that. Best Motion Picture, Drama. This was interesting. Avatar: The Way of Water was nominated. Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Top Gun: Maverick. The Fabelmans came away with the win, giving it maybe a little bit of a boost.
Good sign.
It was like maybe losing some momentum.
It was, but yeah, I think they're firmly back in it at this point.
Is it gonna come out like before the Oscars? Are people gonna be able to actually fucking see this film, or are we just gonna keep it in
on
the
VOD?
I have no idea.
They if they're smart,
VOD
they have
count,
to.
Bro.
They have to like throw it on even like Paramount or whatever it is.
Yes,
I don't
put
know.
it on something. Let people see the
Hulu
movie.
maybe. I don't know who owns this, but like I don't know. I have no idea. You really like, and that's the thing that we didn't talk about either. There's this weird limbo period where they'll put it on VOD and still kind of keep it in theaters, but then not release it on streaming. Just at this point, just put it on streaming. Like,
hey, Hollywood, I speak for all of us. We're not clicking that VOD shit, brothers. We know it's coming to streaming. We're not clicking VOD. We either see it in a movie theater or we see it on streaming. That middle area that you're trying to create with VOD, we're not paying $25 to sit at home, bros. We're not doing
I
that.
wish they would just like tell us how many people have bought it on VOD, because like there are
I want to know.
There are old people who like just buy shit on VOD. Like they have money, they like watching movies, but they ain't leaving their house. Like fuck it, I'll pay $20 to watch The Fablemans. Like yeah, I'll do
But-
that. Steven Spielberg's a nice Jewish boy. I'll pay my guy some money. So I just want like just tell us, okay, fucking The Fablemans did X hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on VOD. Elvis put up fucking numbers on VOD. Elvis went crazy on VOD before it dropped on HBO Max. But they don't like just put dollar figures on.
They don't. Yeah, they don't put that in, factor that into the box office, which I think is really weird.
Yeah, just
The
tell us how
Woman
much money
King-
that shit made.
The Woman King is actively trying to run an Oscar campaign right now. Today, they are trying to run an Oscar campaign. And
Can't find
what
it.
better way to run that campaign than to put that shit out on Netflix and let the whole world watch the movie because the movie's great and it's a fucking movie that people will really enjoy and everyone can be talking about it. But instead, The Woman King is sitting on VOD just dying over there. Why?
I think they've run the worst Oscars campaign.
I mean, that's fair. I agree.
They
with you
didn't. They didn't get out ahead of it at all when it first came out. They kind of just let it sit there, and then all of a sudden, people were like, "Maybe this will be nominated for Oscars." They went, "Wait!" Like, you know,
Yeah, I don't
It
think
used to
they.
be that
I don't
it
think
was like
they
weren't
thought
ready
they
for
had
it.
an Oscar
Yeah, it was like
picture
they
on their
weren't
hands.
ready.
yeah. Oh,
And people were like, "Oh, this
our-
is good. Y'all should run this for Oscars." And they were like, "Wait, what? Huh?
They're like, wait, what?
You liked it? Really? 95% on Rotten Tomatoes? What?
yeah, exactly. Like a A+ cinema score. You know, like oh shit.
Maybe I'm putting too much importance into awards, and I understand that, and I know that all they really care about is money. I understand that, but the hard part is making a piece of art that people want to elevate. When you make the actual art, you should have everything set up perfectly so that you're going to make more money if it is a real Oscar contender. So it really benefits everybody that when we make some fire, we set everything as we mobilize everything in the direction of let it run its campaign. But you can't run a campaign on a movie that no one has seen. You just can't do it. It usually doesn't work. There are some outliers that have had that happen and won Best Picture or won a lot of the Oscars. But for the most part, the movies that win Oscars below and above the line are the movies that people have seen and people have a relationship with, or that made a lot of money in theaters. But it has to have some cultural relevance, which we can't gauge when no one can watch The Fablemans. No one can find it. It's nowhere.
The Woman King made its money back too.
What?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
the
it
Woman
did.
King made its money back too, but it's like they could have made so much more money.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I think Viola Davis is still definitely in the mix there, because I think like some of like that spot for Best Actress is open, I think, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
Best motion picture foreign language. This one's going to be interesting because I think this actually has like best picture consequences, I guess is the term. But RRR, which TG Love was nominated. All Quiet on the Western Front, which has an outside shot of actually making it into the best picture. Argentina 1985 movie, which a lot of people love, but nobody has seen. Close.
Have y'all seen All Quiet on the Western Front?
not yet.
No, that's the thing, and a lot of people have said it's awesome, and it dropped straight to Netflix, which is like
It was like a straight up Netflix release from the beginning.
Decision to
get to it.
Leave, which people love from South Korea. All of these, maybe not close from Belgium, but like all of these now have a shot to make an outside shot to like get into the best picture race. I think it may go to All Quiet on the Western Front, but I would not be shocked at all if RRR somehow sneaks in there. All on top of all that, those weren't the ones that won. Argentina 1985 is the one that came away with the win, actually.
Honestly, couldn't tell you anything about that movie. I legitimately know nothing about it other than what it's called. But yeah,
I think it's a law film. It's a courtroom drama, I think.
Pass. I will
Wait,
watch
what
it.
movie is a law film?
Argentina 1985. I believe it's some lawyers fighting against a communist regime, I believe, or a dictatorship in Argentina.
It'd have to get the best picture nomination for me to sit down and watch it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's good.
But yeah, All Quiet on the Western Front, I think, is probably the best shot of the foreign movies to get a Best Picture nomination just because it's like everywhere on the Oscars short list. It's on the short list for score and like cinematography, I think, and like a few others like kind of big categories where they put out Oscar short lists.
Also, it's a legacy film.
Yeah. It showed up on the Oscar shortlist everywhere, so people are like, "Oh shit, All Quiet on the Western Front. Will we sleep? We might have been asleep." So that's one to definitely check out. Sight Unseen. Like, if I had to pick a foreign movie to go into Best Picture, I would pick that one.
I think that probably is going to knock out something along the lines of Glass Onion, or I think Elvis is going to get in.
Elvis
Here
is
we are.
probably in at this point.
Glass Onion is not going to be a Best Picture nominee, is it?
I just don't see it. I don't see it at this point.
Really?
I think it might.
No, I don't think that.
Hey, bro, 10 movies is a lot of movies. I think,
but Top Gun's going to be in there over Glass Onion, and I don't think Top Gun's going to make it. I'm getting scared for Top Gun.
I can see them both making it. I can see them both.
I think if they're going to put something, I think they're going to put their money behind All Quiet on the Western Front and go in for like that one Oscar. The best screenplay for a motion picture: Todd Field nominated for Tar, Tony Kushner, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Martin McDonagh wins for The Banshees of Inisherin, and Sarah Polley for Woman Talking.
That's some bullshit, guys. That's some bullshit. I don't like that. I don't like that as a sign.
He's going to win that, by the way, which I'm kind of upset because that feels like the one area that the Daniels could come away with a win. Right now, it looks like it's shaping up to have only one Oscar win.
He's going to win that award? Banshees? The director, he's going to win that?
100,000%.
No way. I'm betting against that.
He's won it before. He has the playwright before. People love his movie. The Academy loves his movies. I will put all of my money that he will win that award.
Oh my God! Please don't
screenplay you're talking about.
Yep.
There's some real cinema in the category. That category was stacked. I haven't seen Women Talking, but all those other movies are really.
Here's the thing.
Well,
no, again,
splits it. So he's
no one.
It's an original screenplay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah,
that's
I know there's a fucking Banshees of Inisherin book or what, but
no.
But it's not going to win Best Picture, right? You're saying that's the only thing. That's the only Oscar they're going to win, but not Best Picture.
No, I was saying. I'm worried that the only Oscar that Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to win, if not Best Picture, is going to be Best Supporting Actor for Kiwi Kwan.
They might also win Best Actress, and Yo won.
It's
Golden Globes.
I
think that one's a two-horse race at this point.
Yeah.
Let's get down to the acting categories. Best actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Brendan Gleeson, Barry Keoghan, Brad Pitt, Kiwi Kwan, Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse, which is like, ew. Yeah. I know y'all didn't watch The Good Nurse, but like, what?
The Golden Globes just does some dumb shit sometimes. Yeah.
Brad Pitt nomination for
Babylon.
Okay.
Bullet Train. Kiwi Kwan wins, and he gave you've probably seen it on Twitter. He gave an outstanding speech talking about Steven Spielberg giving him his first roles, and him thanking everybody and saying, like you've heard the story that he's been telling on the campaign trail about he was done acting basically and came back and did the whole thing. It was legitimately like heartwarming and can bring a tear to your eye. If you haven't seen it, I suggest checking it out. But Kiwi Kwan wins, who, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, he was the kid from the second Indiana Jones movie and the Goonies. He was Data from the Goonies, quit acting, and then came back and is now probably going to win an Oscar.
Only quit acting because he couldn't get jobs.
He couldn't get a job because of racism.
Yeah.
That's the only category I'd call a lock right now, is he's winning that award.
Best actress in a supporting role, any motion picture. Angela Bassett wins for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which I think is a lock, actually. Carrie Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Dolly De Leon, Triangle of Sadness, and Carey Mulligan, She Said. I believe that Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably going to end up splitting the vote at the Oscars, because I believe that I'm blanking on her name. Is it
Stephanie Sue?
Stephanie Sue is probably going to get in for the Oscars, which she should be, because I don't, her part's way better than Jamie Lee Curtis's part, to be completely honest. But I think Angela Bassett's gonna win this one for the Oscars
I'm down.
after
I
this
love that.
this
Let's do
winning
that.
this award. I think that's gonna happen. Also, she still looks incredible. Thank you very much.
Still, to this day.
Still.
But yeah, that category honestly might be. Well, no, there's a ton of other interesting categories. I was gonna say that might be the most interesting one, but both of the actress categories are insane. It's gonna be fucking pins and needles figuring out who wins that shit.
Well,
night.
it's funny because they did the supporting actors in any motion picture, but they did, I think maybe to shorten it, but they did the best actor and best actresses in the musical or comedy, and then the best, drama. So we'll go like Colin Farrell wins for the Banshees of Inisherin for musical or comedy, but then you go down. Here's the ones who's actually competing against: Austin Butler, Brendan Fraser, The Well, and Elvis. Hugh Jackman was nominated for The Sun, a movie that I haven't seen anywhere.
That hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, Bill Nighy for Living, Jeremy
Also hasn't come out
Poker,
yet.
The Inspection. Of course, Ray Fiennes, Adam Driver, Daniel Craig, and Diego Calva were also nominated for musical or comedy. So Colin Farrell wins in musical or comedy. Here's where it gets contentious.
Wait, what's the driver nomination from?
White Noise. Yeah. A movie that no one even talked about. Nope. But Austin Butler wins for Elvis. Ew.
Why? Ew.
You know how much I hate Elvis, but I didn't hate his performance.
He was good in that.
It's fine. It's fine.
I just don't like Elvis.
I don't like Elvis. Like, okay, I like Elvis as a movie. I don't love it. I don't want that to win any other awards. But yeah, this is not a Rami Malek situation where I'm like, fuck you. Like, I don't want you to win this award.
It feels like
I Austin
a
Butler
little
was
bit.
good.
It just feels like I just at this point in movie going, like giving awards to the doing an impression of a person, I'm not quite there anymore. And
yeah, that's fair.
It just that we did it for Rami Malek and I didn't like it then.
But Rami Malek was bad though.
Well, the problem is we should have never done it for Rami Malek, and then we could have more openly done it for Austin Butler.
Right. I mean,
Rami Malek was bad in that movie, and he's bad in every other movie that
everything.
I've seen him in. So that's the problem with the Rami Malek win for me. It's not that it was an impression; it's that he is bad.
He's actively bad, guys. I'm sorry. iRobot or whatever that shit is called. Nobody wants to watch that shit. This guy can't act. I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Robot, iRobot.
Whatever that shit is called.
Whatever it is, I ain't watching that
act,
shit.
guys.
I
His
get Rami Malek off of our TV screens.
We want less Rami Malek in 2023. Less.
What's crazy to me is how much steam Brendan Fraser has run out of. And I think that just has to do with the movie.
Good.
Yeah.
Because people hate the movie.
Yeah.
The performance is so good, but that movie's not it, man. Have y'all seen it?
No, it's still playing in theaters here. I need to go and check it out.
Everyone hates it so much that I realized I'm not going to put myself through it because his movies are. I watched Mother in the movie theater, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like, "Yo, what the fuck am I watching? What is actually happening? Why did I subject myself to this?" I don't love his movies other than Requiem for a Dream, which I really love. But even that is a very tough watch, an extremely tough watch, and I just don't like his movies that much.
With The Whale, it's like the movie itself isn't like super disturbing or anything like that. Like I haven't seen Mother, but I assume it's like a bunch of fucked up imagery from what I've heard. The Whale, the problem is, it's just he's fat. That's the whole movie. He's fat and he hates religion, and that's it. Like there's nothing else is going on. Sadie Sink plays like the worst character I've ever seen in my fuck. She's awful. She's like not the performance, like just the character. Like it's just an awful person, and she's like one of 4 people that's in the movie. It's like this stinks. But Brendan Fraser's really good. This movie sucks.
It's just I see it like running out of steam in real time, even though he's campaigning and doing the whole thing. It just is.
Bro, you're not gonna win an Academy Award in 2023 for playing a fat person. That's never going to happen.
Well, like, it was more so everybody needs a story. It was more the story of Brendan Fraser than anything else.
That's true. He's got
until
a
we
great
all
story.
actually the movie, like because all of that shit was happening when people had only seen it in Venice or whatever, and we're giving him applause and all this shit, and then real
people started watching it.
went and saw this in theaters, and we're like, wait, what?
I will say
So he's
this
just
though
fat?
too,
That's the movie. Like,
but for Austin Butler, the Austin Butler of it all, if he gets on stage and accepts an Oscar in his Elvis voice, I'm
we don't have to
going
do that.
I'm
We
going
don't
to
have to
have
do
a
that.
heart attack. I'm
We don't have to do
going
it,
to
Austin.
die.
Please don't do it, Austin. Please, we don't have to do that. Just be Austin Butler up there.
You're from Anaheim.
I just need
Talk
us
normal.
to make absolutely certain that we announce Best Actor either way before or way after we do the Oscar like acknowledgement thing and acknowledge that Lisa Marie Presley has died. Do fucking not.
Did she die?
Tonight,
Today.
I knew she had a cardiac event. I know she died.
Yeah.
Damn.
Do fucking not. Do the thing.
Don't do
like
it.
You did with Chadwick Boseman, where it's like,
Don't
oh shit, this is gonna be the moment where they like we saved it till the end. This is the time they're gonna like acknowledge Chadwick Boseman. It's gonna close the show. That's gonna be so great, and then you give the award to somebody else. Don't do that shit. All right. Keep that shit as separate as possible. Unless you fucking know for sure that he is going to win the award and is going to go up there.
I couldn't believe they did that, bro.
Like,
don't set it up like that.
Do not set that shit up at all. Keep it as separate as humanly possible.
I don't know, man. Him just getting on stage and being like, I just want to thank my mama and everyone else who has helped me doing this. And it's like, brother.
No, this is
What
your
are we
time to shine,
doing?
Austin Butler. Be Austin Butler. Charm us. Be yourself. It will
Although
play much better.
somebody did say if a Mouseketeer from Canada, Ryan Gosling, can act like he's in a Scorsese film for his entire career, then I'll allow Austin Butler to do whatever it is he's doing. Real quick, when we gotta get out of here, we're going long, but like best actress in a motion picture, this is the biggest category. Drama went to Cate Blanchett,
the God,
as we all thought.
The God.
Viola Davis was also nominated. Ana de Armas for Blonde, like, whoo, brother.
No, get Blonde the fuck out of here. That is not real cinema. Get it out.
See, that's like some Golden Globes bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Yes, facts.
They wanted to have Ana de Armas at the show.
Olivia Colman will not be mentioned at the Oscars. It will not be mentioned at the Oscars once. And
Olivia Colman for Empire of Light, Viola Davis, The Woman King, Ana de Armas, Blonde, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans. So Cate Blanchett wins for Tar, and then of course, musical or comedy, it goes to Michelle Yeoh,
the other God,
for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's a two-woman race. It's a two-woman race,
right? Also nominated there were Emma Thompson, Good Luck to You, Leo Grand.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that movie fucking sucks.
Motion picture or comedy, that musical or comedy, they don't make musicals and they don't make comedies anymore. So
I put that shit at number like 73 on my list from last year. That shit sucks, dude. I didn't realize she got nominated. Holy shit.
Leslie Manville, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, Margot Robbie, Babylon, and Anya Taylor-Joy, The Menu, and Michelle Yeoh wins for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Margot should get the Oscar nom. Is she getting it or not? She should get it. I don't think that she is, but she fucking should get it.
She should get it. She deserves it.
I think Babylon's going to be nominated for some below the line awards.
Almost certainly. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get any acting nominations or like screenplay or anything like above the line.
So I don't know. Who's going to be our field for best actress?
I think it's going to be, if I had to pick right now, Michelle Yeoh, Michelle Williams, Cate Blanchett, Viola Davis is going to sneak in there as well, and something tells me that Olivia Colman for Empire of Light is going to sneak in there, even though no one saw that movie and I think critics didn't like it as much, but the Academy loves it. Yeah, the critics love, but the Academy loves Olivia
Colman. Nominated every year, so yeah. That's probably a good bet. But there should be some Margot Robbie talk there. There won't, but
I won't be shocked. But I'm not. But like, I'm just not banking on it. You know what I mean?
Also, how cool would it be to have Margot Robbie right there at the Oscars actually in an award contention. We know she's not going to win, but just having her be involved in the process just sounds like what we do for our television show. So look out for that.
Yeah, as long as she's not there wearing Chanel again, we have to stop that. We have to end that partnership for her.
Thing that we all care about. Best director for a motion picture. This one's an interesting race. James Cameron, Avatar: Way of Water. Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Baz Luhrmann for Elvis. Okay. Martin McDonough
Get
for
the
the Banshees
fuck-
of Inisherin. And Steven Spielberg actually wins for The Fabelmans, which furthers my theory. They're going to give him that Oscar. They're going to give him
That's
that
a
third Best
nasty
Directing
group of
Oscar.
nominees the Golden Globes just gave us for Best Director. That is a nasty group.
It's going to be the ones that are up there, Bubba.
No, it's not. No, it is not. No, it is not. Avatar being in Best Director and Tar not being in Best Director, that is not going to happen.
Tar has to
That
be
is
in
not
Best
going to
Director.
happen.
It has to.
That's not going to happen. No fucking way that happens.
Tar has to
And
be.
also,
Best
Baz
Director.
Luhrmann won't be anywhere near Best Director. Stop it, Royden. Stop it.
Guys,
He's not going to be anywhere near Best Director, guys. Baz Luhrmann?
I don't know if you know, people don't like Tar. Like regular people don't like Tar as much as we like Tar.
But the
Baz
Academy
Luhrmann-
does.
Baz
Do
Luhrmann
they?
is, yes, the Academy.
They
yes,
do. They fucking love it.
All the olds love Elvis. That's all I'm saying. There's so many
Baz
old people
Luhrmann-
still in the Academy.
Here's my hot take prediction. You will not see Baz Luhrmann mentioned in this show. He will be nowhere near Best Director. Austin Butler will be the only thing coming for this film is that potential win. He's definitely going to be nominated. Elvis not going to be Best Picture. Elvis not going to be Best Director. It's
I
not going
hope
to be
not.
another screenwriting ones. It's out of here, bros. It's going to get a song, and it's going to get Austin Butler. That's it.
Is it
Okay.
gonna get a song? Does it
That's
have
it.
original songs? Or yeah, I guess it does. It has like Doja
Doja
Cat.
Cat nominee?
They have a Doja Cat song.
I don't remember whether or not it was on the short list. I know my queen Rihanna will be there. Hopefully she performs, but we'll see.
Another thing too, Justin Hurwitz won for Babylon for best original score. It's like the fourth time he's worked with Damien Chazelle and the fourth Golden Globe he's ever won. So that's actually incredible. He may have a chance to actually win the Oscar for that. But yeah, that's it. We'll have a better idea of the actual Oscars race, I think, once the SAG Awards wrap up. Those nominations came out today. We're running long, so I don't want to go through all of those, but once the SAG Awards I think are held, I think that may have taken the place of the Golden Globes as far as not as viewership, but as far as meaning more to the Oscars.
The guilds definitely means more. The Producers Guild, Directors Guild, Screen Actors Guild all mean more than the Golden Globes for sure.
Yeah. So we'll have a better idea of what the Oscars actually look like. Our next episode is going to be, I believe, Megan. And we're going to wrap up 2022 finally, a month into 2023. We're going to wrap up our best films of 2022. I think you all have some idea of what those are, but we'll take a look back at the year in film, the great year in film of 2022.
Incredible cinema.
Incredible cinema. You can find us at the One Take Pod, One Take Podcast on Twitter, One Take Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us on all those platforms. Go download, and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. Please give us a rating on Spotify. I know a lot of y'all download us on Spotify. Just swipe 5 stars on Spotify. We really appreciate that. You can find Dex at Lord Dex Hinton. You can find Tej at _humble Tej, at Royden Ogletree. We write for Apollo HOU.com. Dex writes for Screen Rant. Go check out those articles. And Tej has a college football podcast because TCU got that ass beat.
Got that ass whooped
in front of the hose and God. And that
nasty.
The biggest bowl game loss of all time. Since the history of bowl games. All of them. That was the biggest loss ever.
The best season in TCU history ended with no conference championship, no national championship, and the biggest bowl game loss that has ever happened in front of the hose. Welcome back to the poverty. Welcome back to the dirt, bro. You really love
I believe in this country again. I feel proud to be an American. Anything is possible.
I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was sweating bullets.
I wasn't. I didn't think they would get by Michigan, but I knew that Georgia was not going to let me have a bad night that night, and I loved every second of that ass whooping. And I didn't turn the game off. I kept watching.
Me either.
I
I
had a great time.
watched all the way to the
I had a
Ant-Man
fucking
trailer.
great time.
By the way, nasty Michigan. We don't have a lot of Michigan listeners,
Disgusting.
but
Yeah, y'all
ew,
nasty as hell for that. Nasty.
Ew.
Y'all told a lot of lies. Y'all nasty.
letting that team beat y'all in front of
Y'all were
God.
supposed to put them into the dirt so we could really have our fun last week. Y'all were supposed to already have accomplished that. That was nasty.
Anyway, you can find us at One Take Pod. Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag Sports Florence Pugh. Go get that Vogue cover.
Oh, she is on the cover of Vogue. All right, we're out.